All right, everybody, how's it going? This is Immigration Attorney Moumita. I'm coming to you live to talk to you about immigration and to see the questions that you may have on your mind today. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Moumita Rahman, and I am an immigration attorney. I have been practicing immigration law for the past 14 years, and it is my pleasure to do the work that I do because I believe that immigrants make America great already. So thank you so much for joining me. If you're a current client, please say hi. If you are in a different state than New York, let me know what country you're from. Let me know what state you're living in. I always love to see where my followers are from. And if you have a question about immigration, go ahead and drop it into the box below. I'm going to start answering it shortly after I start talking to you about the topic of the day, which is the housework that you're doing really just a normal housework, or is it really a situation for a T visa? If you do not know what the T visa is, it is a type of case that every immigrant needs to know about because it could very well apply in your situation, and it can be a way to get legal status. It can be a way to get a work permit. It can be a way to become a resident and a citizen of the US in the future. So if you don't know what a T visa is, keep listening because this may apply to you. And if you have been in a relationship with somebody, even if they're not a US citizen or if they are a US citizen, if you have been in a relationship with somebody where you just feel like you are constantly working for them, you are constantly doing things, and you feel like there's no relief, there's no way that you can get out of it, this can be a way, you need to keep listening because what I'm about to tell you about may very well help you and may apply in your case. So let's talk about, first of all, what is a T visa, and then I'll tell you about whether or not possibly the housework that you are doing, the domestic work that you are doing, whether that can qualify as a T visa. So first of all, the T visa is a type of immigration case where you can apply for residency and citizenship in the future through where basically T stands for trafficking, but in the immigration world, trafficking is not what you think about like when it comes to like drug trafficking or things like that. Trafficking in the immigration context is anytime you have a situation where you are doing work or providing labor or services to somebody, but you're not really doing it out of your own free will. So what does that really mean? I mean, a lot of people can, as immigrants, we take on very difficult jobs. We take on dangerous jobs. We take on the jobs that other people do not want. And sometimes we do it because we need to earn a living and we need to pay the bills. But here is where your fear of losing the job can actually be something else and help you apply for a T visa. And this is what may constitute that. If you end up doing work in your job or in a relationship inside of a house, let me demonstrate the let me demonstrate to you the example of work, okay? Because what I want you to understand is that work, you can be doing work for somebody who pays you money, or you could be doing work for somebody who you're married to or living within a house, okay? So let's talk about work. If you are doing work for someone, whoever that person is, if you are doing work for somebody because you are afraid of what will happen to you if you don't do it because that person threatens you, threatens to hurt you, threatens to get you deported, threatens to get you arrested, threatens your good name. If you end up doing work out of a fear of your own safety or of your own freedom, then this may end up being a situation that is really a T visa. So let me give you some more examples. If you are in a job and you end up doing something that is dangerous and not with any safety equipment, but you do it because if you don't do it, you know that your boss is going to get in your face and scream at you and humiliate you, and you're even afraid that they might even get violent with you, then you're not just doing the job because you're afraid of not having a job. You're ending up doing that work because you're afraid of what your boss will do if you don't do it, if you don't listen to them. And that is something that means that you're doing that work involuntarily, and it can very well lead to a T visa situation. So how can your housework end up becoming a T visa situation? Well, many times if you are in a relationship where your spouse or partner is threatening you, if they actually put their hands on you, if they hit you, if they hurt you when you don't do what they say, if they expect you to get up as early in the morning as you can to make them breakfast, or they'll wake you up out of bed whenever they come home at night so that you can cook them their food, if they want things cleaned a certain way in the house, and if you don't do it, if you don't do these things, if they resort to violence, or if they tell you that you can't leave the house, if they tell you that you have to go outside and work and then give them all their money, or else they're going to take away your children. These are some of the situations where your domestic life or your personal life can actually be a T visa situation. And it's very important for you to know, because not everyone is married to a US citizen. Not everybody has a way to do Vawa or to do a green card through marriage. And if you're not married to a US citizen, and this is your situation where you feel like you are your partner's servant, then this is something that you need to look into. And some lawyers will tell you that this does not constitute trafficking, but think about it this way. Do you feel like you are free to leave? Do you feel like you are free to not do what they say? If not, then that may very well mean that you may have a T visa situation. And please give us a call, 212-248-7907. It is definitely something that every person needs to be aware about. And this can help you whether you are a man or a woman, whether you're married or whether you're just living with a boyfriend or girlfriend. This may very well constitute a T visa situation, okay? All right, let's go ahead and see what questions that I have today. From New York, from 5-Star Fashion with Jesse. My husband and I have been married for 2 years and he hasn't received his green card yet. I'm also 8 months pregnant with a daughter. Is this how long the process goes? So Jesse, 2 years is pretty long, but it also depends on whether you are a green card holder or a citizen. If you're a citizen, then this is a little bit long, but they might be planning to ask you to come in for an interview. Also, it depends on exactly what your husband applied for. Did he apply for adjustment of status inside the US, or did he are you doing the waiver process, the perdón, where he has to leave the US to get his green card? If he has to leave the US to get his green card, then the process will take multiple years, yes. I've been a legal resident for the past 20 years. They denied my citizenship because they said I have a permanent bar. Does the 1997 law help? So if you, C10 projects, okay. So if you have the permanent bar, if you have the permanent bar and you've been told that you can't get a green card, you may be surprised to know that there are a few different case types where you can still get the permanent bar. You can still get the green card even if you have the permanent bar. And these are the 3 main cases that we work with in our office to help people who have the permanent bar get a green card without leaving the US for 10 years. Because who wants to hear that? Who wants to hear that you have to leave the US for 10 years to get your green card? So case number 1, Vawa. If you are married to a United States citizen, or if you are the parent of a 21-year-old US citizen who has been abusing you mentally, emotionally, financially, or physically, and your entry or exit to the US that triggers the permanent bar is connected to what you suffered with your relative, then we may be able to get you a green card without you leaving the US. Case number 2, if you qualify for the T visa, which I just spoke about, where if you have a situation where you are working for a toxic boss, an abusive boss, or you have a partner who is threatening you in order to get all of the work done, then you may qualify for a T visa. And for the T visa, the beauty of that is that even if you have 5 permanent bars, you can still get approved for a T visa and still be on your way to residency with the T visa. And lastly is the U visa, which many of you know about. The U visa is for persons who have been the victim of a crime. One of the other benefits, just like with the T visa, with the U visa, the permanent bars can be fixed, can be waived as well. But the downside is that the U visa is taking like 5 to 7 years to process, whereas with the T visa, that's taking underneath 2 years. So if you think you might qualify for the T visa or the U visa or for Vawa, and you have the permanent bar, give us a call, 212-248-7907. We would be very, very happy to take a look at your case. Thank you for the follow. Does it, from Kimmy Kim, I am free. Does it take longer to get Vawa approved? My spouse is an LPR. I've been waiting for over 13 months and I only did biometrics from Kimmy Kim. Kimmy Kim, yes. If you're filing for Vawa and your spouse is a US citizen, even if you're not filing for Vawa, if you're filing for a green card, if you're trying to get a green card and your spouse is a US citizen, your case may take, if your spouse is a green card holder, your case may definitely take a lot longer than if you were the spouse of a US citizen, because of the fact that when you're the spouse of a green card holder, you are considered what is called a preference category relative, and the government only gives out a small number of visas every year to preference category relatives. And right now there is a backlog. There is a wait time of at least 2 years for applying for a green card as a spouse of a green card holder, even if you're filing for VAWA, which means that if you're filing for VAWA, you have to wait. You can file your VAWA application, the form I-360 only, and you can only file the I-485 application for permanent residency when your priority date becomes current according to the visa bulletin. Cherry Lips, I've been here for almost 25 years and I have DACA since it started. How can I get my green card without getting married? From Cherry Lips. Cherry Lips, first of all, congrats for having DACA. I'm very happy that you have that as a security for yourself right now. Now, if you have DACA and you are not married to a US citizen, what potential options might you have? Well, number one, like I said, the T visa. If you have ever worked for somebody who is an abusive boss, a toxic boss, a boss that makes fun of your immigration status or that makes jokes about you getting deported, a boss that screams in your face, a boss that doesn't pay you properly because they know you don't have papers, or they're just not paying you properly because that's just who they are, then this may qualify you for a T visa. So call us. And also, number two, if you have DACA, but you're not married to a US citizen, if you have ever been the victim of a crime, then maybe we can help you apply for a U visa. And the U visa is really for a little bit more of a serious type of crime. You know, if your car gets broken into in the night and you're not there, then that may not qualify. However, if you get held up at gunpoint, then that's a different story, okay? You can call us, Cherry Lips, 212-248-7907. Now, a frequent question that I get a lot is, if you have DACA and you have an employer willing to sponsor you, can that help your case? And the answer is maybe yes or no. It really depends on a lot of things, because number one, even if you have an employer that is willing to sponsor you, you may not be able to get a green card inside the US because you don't have a status and you may have unlawful presence. And sometimes if you have had DACA since before you turned 18 years old, then if an employer sponsors you, you may be able to leave the US to do an interview outside, and you may not need to do a waiver for unlawful presence. So that's sometimes an option, but it's a lot more complicated than people realize. Okay, Cherry Lips? But Cherry Lips, if you want to call us, 212-248-7907. All right, TikTok. Okay, thank you for all the roses. I saw some roses. How does a person deported who still lives in the US get their green card back? Love, thank you for the rose. Okay, so if you have been deported and you're still inside the US, the way to get your green card back is going to depend on what type of cases you have available to you, but also we have to look to see why your green card got taken away in the first place. Because if you have your green card, the sad reality is that even if you have a green card, the government can still take that away from you if you commit certain violations of law. And the two violations are basically criminal related, like if you commit a crime of a certain nature, or if you received your green card through fraud, then they may take away your green card even if you've had it for many years. Now, if you've had your green card revoked, number one, we have to see why. And number two, we have to see what your possibilities are for other types of cases inside the US in order to see if we can get that back for you. Terry, thank you for the rose. I'm going to see what your question is. Traveling domestically with the USCIS adjustment of status open, would we have any problems via airplane? From Victoria Diaz, Bayo, Victoria. And for anybody else who has a currently pending I-485 adjustment of status case, can you travel domestically? And the answer is, nowadays you can, although I would always caution anybody who is out of status if you don't even have a work permit. You may want to be careful. You may want to just wait for the work permit at least to come through before you board a plane, because the truth is that sometimes there can be Customs and Border Patrol officials on domestic flights to check, but it's not very common. But if you're particularly worried about that and you don't have a valid license or you don't have a valid passport, then you may want to wait for your work permit first. But generally speaking, I've not heard of people having problems traveling domestically when they don't have a work permit. And also one more thing is that when you have a pending I-485 case, that is usually, it puts you into what is called an authorized period of stay when your I-485 is pending. So you have a little bit of extra protection in the back of your pocket, basically. So you should be okay, but definitely, Victoria, consult with your attorney before you travel. And what I tell clients is that if you are really afraid, if you're afraid of the risks, then don't take the risk and just stay put. Wait for other things to finish in your case and then move forward, because sometimes having all of that anxiety, additional anxiety, is not worth it, okay? Legal Eagle, thank you for watching from Seattle, Washington. Gabby Chung is very sad with the visa bulletin date. Her priority date is May 2022. Gabby, about a year and a half, well, 2 years, but you never know if the priority date may go up and down, okay? Mayra Pena, let me see if I can find your question. Hi from Iowa. Hi, Samantha. Hi from Philadelphia. Okay, Mayra Pena. Mi hermano entró al país después de 14 años, tuvo una deportación, pero le mataron a la esposa. Entró después de 14 años, califica para un asilo. Desde Mayra. Ok, Mayra, parece que su hermano entró al país y usted salí su país porque tenía miedo, ¿sí? En este caso, si su hermano quisiera aplicar para asilo, es importante para saber el límite. Hay un límite de 1 año para aplicar para asilo. Y si hace más de 1 año desde la fecha de la entrada, su caso va a ser más difícil y hay más oportunidad para ponerse en deportación. Pero en algunos casos sí es posible para aplicar para asilo, aún si ha estado más de 1 año desde la fecha de la entrada. ¿Ok, Mayra? Espero que esta pregunta va a ayudarle. Dilip Vieira, do you need proof for the T visa for Moumita? Dilip, thank you for your question. By your name is amazing. Dilip Vieira sounds like you might be South Indian. So Dilip, you do not need to have proof for a T visa. For the T visa cases, the standard of proof is any credible evidence. And pretty much all of our T visa cases that we do in our office, all that we have as proof is the client's affidavit. And we're still getting approved. So you really don't need any proof for T visas, and they haven't asked for it. So don't let that hold you back. If you have been holding back from filing for a T visa because you're like, I don't have any proof, it's simply not something that we worry about in our office. Tammy, hi from Philadelphia. Marty McGizmo, I haven't renewed my DACA in 5 years. Can I still renew it again after so long? I'm in California. Marty, unfortunately, because if you have not renewed your DACA in so many years, then you may not be able to renew it now. But you can call our office and we can try to see if there's any other possibilities for you for other cases, okay? 212-248-7907. Unstoppable Finey, I'm in Jamaica. I'm from Jamaica, but I live in Brooklyn. Jamaica in the house. Where are all my Jamaicans? So many, I'm gonna be putting out a new dance soon. All right, let's see what other. Can an approved I-130 waiting for appointment abroad apply for a transit visa through JFK? From Novini. Novini, yes, you can. but whether it gets approved is going to depend because having an I-130 in process can raise the possibility that Customs and Border Patrol might believe that you are at risk of overstaying inside the US. Okay. Sorry, YouTube, I haven't looked at your questions in a bit. Can someone who mistakenly registered to vote have a problem with USCIS from John CB? John CB, yes, they can definitely have a problem. But if you do a timely retraction, everything is going to depend on the officer that you get and whether they make a problem out of it. Fortunately, we just had a client who was able to naturalize. She had mistakenly registered to vote when she applied for her driver's license, but we were able to retract it and we were able to explain how it was a mistake and it was not a willing or knowing mistake. And the immigration officer approved. But it is very true that if you make a false claim to citizenship, to US citizenship, it is a very, very serious immigration problem. And it's sometimes impossible to fix. And people do get deported and lose their residency over this. Larcel, when you file for Vawa, it takes about 2.5 to 3 years to get an approval. So just because it's been filed and the fingerprints have been taken, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to approve it right away. Daniel Lopez has been waiting 24 months for his I-601 waiver approval. Once it's approved, who should I contact to get my instructions? From Danielle. Danielle, if you applied the I-601A waiver, when you apply for your I-601A waiver, it's usually because you have already filed an I-130 and you have let the consulate know that you're going to be applying for a visa overseas. So when you file the I-601A, you have to make sure you let your attorneys know. You have to make sure that your attorneys take the next step because usually once the I-601A is filed, then you can finish processing additional documents on the NBC website, and then you basically have to wait for the appointment. So if your I-601A has been approved, you want to make sure that your lawyers and your attorney's office is taking the next step in the NBC process of your case, okay? Because if you take too long, then that can create another problem. How long does the I-485 take to be adjudicated after I-360 approval from Bondi? Bondi, after your I-360 VAWA is approved, it generally takes about anywhere from 6 months to about 1 year for your local field office to process your VAWA, to process your I-485 application, okay? If I answered yes to employment without authorization, would that be a problem for VAWA application from Shani Han? Shani, no, not at all. This is one of the benefits that you have of applying for VAWA or applying for marriage, green card as a spouse of a U.S. citizen, and it doesn't matter for VAWA how you apply. If you have unauthorized employment, it's generally not a problem. Okay. Do you help with spouse visa from End It All? End It All, yes, we do. But sometimes we are not at the moment doing waivers if you require waiver processing overseas. My brother got married with a citizen, and he got denied, but he was abused by his wife. They don't live together, but they're not divorced, from Suzanne Bala. Suzanne Bala, have your brother give us a call. Now, if you have been married to a U.S. citizen and you applied for a green card with your spouse, but it got denied and it didn't go through, and you're no longer with your spouse, if during the course of your marriage your spouse actually made you suffer, they just basically hurt you emotionally, they put you down, they may have put their hands on you. Now, a lot of people think that men cannot be subjected to abuse, which is simply not true. And I understand that VAWA stands for the Violence Against Women's Act, but it's equally applicable for men and women. And I'm happy to say that at least half of the cases that we have won for VAWA cases were for clients who were men. And it is possible, it does work, and you don't need physical abuse, you don't need a police report, you don't need medical reports. You simply do not need any of that. And some attorneys will tell you that your case will not win without a police report, without physical abuse, without medical reports. I am literally here to tell you that none of those things are required. And when attorneys tell you that that's what's needed and they make you lose hope that your case is not going to win, it's because they don't understand the concept of abuse and they don't understand how people suffer. But here at our office, that's what we understand, and we want to help people who have been through that situation, whether you are a man or whether you are a woman, whether you're in a same-sex relationship or whether you're in a traditional relationship. We help all sorts of people with that. Okay, so you can call us at 212-248-7907. Okay, I have a lot of questions and a lot of gifts. Let me see if I can find the last person who just sent me a gift. Gerbi Norelas. I'm trying to find your question, Gerbi. Thank you for the gift, Gerbi. Can you resend your question if you have a question, because I don't see it. The life, thank you. Oh my God. If you're working abroad as an LPR, are you still required to file annual taxes from Kishi? You need to consult with a tax attorney or an accountant for that, but yes, as long as you're a legal resident of the United States, it doesn't matter where you earn your money in the world, you still have to file taxes on that money. Our phone number is 212-248-7907. If you want to call to make an appointment, please don't come to our office unless you have an appointment. We don't work that way. But I know that some people show up because they want to make sure that we're real, and I appreciate that. That's okay. But just do understand that if you show up here without an appointment and you're looking for me, you're not going to be able to talk to me that way. Do you take NVC cases abroad that's waiting for appointment? I'm from Navini. Navini, no. I would only do it if we need to start the case. I'm located in New York City. I'm from EJ Coloma. I'm located in New York City, but we work with clients all over the US. We do virtual appointments on the phone and by Zoom. So even if you're not in New York and you're looking to work with me, it's totally fine. As long as you're okay with it, we're okay with it. I know a lot of people fear working with us because they don't see us. They don't know if we're real or if we're going to take advantage of people. We are not in the business of taking advantage of people. If we can't take your case, we're going to tell you that. We're not going to just take your money for that, okay? But I do want to point out the fact that there's a lot of people impersonating me, people pretending to be me. We only have one phone number. We do not have WhatsApp. We do not have Telegram. The only phone number that we have is 212-248-7907, 212-248-7907. Unfortunately, the scammers are all out there and they're going to pretend to be me, but this is our only phone number and our only office location is New York right now, okay? Any option to file after I-130 approval to not file just with the status or visa abroad, apply I-24. So if your I-130 has been approved, you either can file adjustment of status in the US or file an I-824 to send it to the consulate overseas for the visa appointment. Mickey Mart, I'm under my mom's asylum case and I'm 21, but it was filed when I was 12. Will I still get my papers from Mickey Mart? Mickey Mart, I believe so, because it was filed when you're still a minor. So you shouldn't have aged out, okay? Also, sometimes if you do happen to age out, you're no longer eligible, you might be able to ask for to file a nunc-pro-tunc application. But filing for asylum, I think you should be okay, Mickey Mart, okay? But I can't answer for 100% certainty. Do you do immigration in California from H. Aquino? Yes, we do. Ms. Guzman, I stopped my husband's papers for cheating on me. Good for you. My wife just got her citizenship and I'm still on my residency. We have 3 kids. What documents do we apply to get over a family member to help look after our kids? I don't know. You can do, I don't really do that sort of case, so I can't really tell you. David M, I tried to speak to you on the phone. We don't do I-130 cases. What's true is that we don't do I-130 cases right now for anyone who's not a sibling or who's not a parent of a U.S. citizen or a spouse or child of a U.S. citizen child. Can you get deported if you get arrested while you're waiting for your I-485 and I-131 from wavy GY? Yes, you definitely can. You can get, the sad truth is that even if you have a case pending, if you get arrested for certain crimes, first we have to see if you get convicted of that crime. If you get convicted of that crime, then that can definitely cause you to get deported depending on what you get convicted for. But if you have a case pending, like an I-485 and an I-130, then even if you get arrested, generally speaking, ICE is usually amenable to letting you out on bond, and judges are usually amenable to letting you out on bond. So it kind of slows down the process and it gives you more of a chance to not get deported, okay? I filed an I-130 for my mother in September. How long will it take? If you file an I-130 for your parent, it will still take about a year, more or less. I applied for Vawa 28 months ago and no answer. Is that normal? Yes, absolutely. It takes up to 3 years for a Vawa case. Niku, I have a Vawa case with a U.S. citizen. I already talked to your team. Niku, that's great. I hope you'll decide to work with us. Do I have hope for a C1D visa? Can I get married from Haliak Azitel? If you enter the country with a C1D visa, you're not able to adjust. However, if you do Vawa, then you may be able to adjust through Vawa. We've actually had clients who came in on a C1D visa be able to get their green card even though they have a C1D entry because we did a Vawa case. Also, cases like T visa, U visa are fine. How long do I need to apply for change of status for my fiance once she arrived in the US? Well, if you're doing a K1 visa and it's a K1 fiance, you need to get married within 90 days and then file for your I-485 as soon as possible. Raymond Tovar from San Antonio, hello. Eddie Mondragon, is it safe for me to travel via airplane within the USA if I have an immigration case in progress? From Eddie. Eddie, so if you have an immigration case in progress and you want to travel domestically, it's generally okay, but you always want to talk with your lawyer. I've never heard of anyone having a problem domestically, but it is true that sometimes there's Customs and Border Patrol officials on planes in some locations. But if you're worried, you can carry your paperwork with you as well. Jose, I sent my I-751 in March. They don't send me a receipt yet, but they gave me a stamp. Is it okay? From Jose. Jose, yes. Generally speaking, it normally takes up to 3 months sometimes to get receipts from USCIS. I had a fingerprint for Vawa in 2022 and I haven't gotten back anything from them. Is that normal? I didn't get a prima facie letter from Caribbean Views. Caribbean Views, if you filed for Vawa and you did not get a prima facie determination, did you get a prima facie request for evidence? If you did not get that, then you can contact the Vermont Service Center and send them a letter and ask them to give you a prima facie determination. But also, if you filed for Vawa in 2022 and you still have not heard anything, that's very normal. Remember, it can take up to 3 years to get a decision on your Vawa case. I actually have a Vawa approval on my case right now. In this case, we filed it. This is the date for one of the latest Vawa approvals that we got. We filed it in May 12th, 2021, and it's been approved May 15th, 2024. So that's literally 3 years and 3 months. 3 years and 3 months. Sorry, guys. I've had a long day and I'm a little tired. So I'm a little tongue twisted right now. Anyway, all right. So that's all the time that I have for today. I hope you all got some value out of this live. I hope I answered some questions. I know I could not answer everything, but still, thank you for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you are wanting to file for a T visa or a Vawa or an I-130 through your spouse or parent, give us a call, 212-248-7907. We hope to be able to help you and offer you a case evaluation, okay? I hope you all have a lovely night. Again, our telephone number is 212-248-7907. My name is Moumita Rahman. I'm an immigration attorney who's been practicing for 14 years. Even though I'm based in New York, I help immigrants all over the United States. Thank you, good night, and God bless. Bye.